Hey everyone, it's Melissa from the blog hymnsandhome.com, and I am so excited that it is finally fall and I am getting the chance to decorate my tiny front porch for the season. I hope you'll join me. I am probably one of the worst influencers when it comes to trying to sell people products, because I firmly believe in shopping your own home and trying to use what you have before buying something new. I also believe that if you find something that works, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time. Some of you might remember from back in the spring that I used this basket to make an arrangement for my front door. Well, I'm actually going to use this same basket, which stayed on my front door all of spring, all of summer. I'm finally going to redo it for fall. If you caught my last video, you might have caught our announcement that we're expecting again. And I have to say that the summer was really rough. Thankfully, I am moving past that, but I did not have the energy or the desire to redecorate our front porch over the summer. So it pretty much just stayed like it was from the springtime until now. And it is really in need of a revamp for the season. However, I don't believe that everything always has to be reinvented. So I'm gonna use this same basket on my front door. I'm even gonna use the same ribbon because it's kind of this brown and white plaid, which is perfect for fall. And I just dug through my basement to find some different florals, and we're gonna stick it up there and call it good for fall. I bought a variety of these stems last year, and I'm sorry, I can't really remember where I got them. And you know, things change from store to store seasonally, so it's probably a moot point to even try to find these or link these, but they're just some faux fall florals, say that 3 times fast, faux fall florals that I got at either Hobby Lobby or Michael's probably. Just stuck, let's see, 5 of them together, and we're gonna shove them in this basket. Right, I could leave it like that, but I actually have some of these kind of neutral colored flowers. I used these in a fall wreath probably 2 years ago already. That's hard to believe. And I just took some of these out of that old wreath, and I'm just gonna shove them in the basket with these stems. And just like that, I think we're gonna call that good for a fall front door arrangement. One thing I have noticed is that this tends to slide around if the door gets banged shut or if it's really windy out. I may just put one of those little rubber non-skid pads behind this to help hold it in place. But overall, that was super quick and easy for a little fall refresh. Next thing I need to do is clear out some of these old pots and dead plants, because I do have dead plants still sitting on the porch. If you saw my video back in the spring with these planters on my brick wall, you might remember that I used brick clips to hold these up. And brick clips were apparently very popular with many of you. That was one of my largest, farthest reaching videos ever. And a few weeks after that video kind of went viral, it didn't really go viral, but for me, it reached a lot of people. And a few weeks after that happened, the company on Amazon is sold out of brick clips. So I would kind of like to think that you and I were responsible for selling this company out of brick clips. However, they became harder to find. So I did a little research and I found some other sellers of brick clips. If you're interested in attaching planters to your brick wall without having to drill into the mortar. These have held up really well since I put them up back in April, probably. The only trouble I've had, unfortunately, is with the deer. They like to eat all of my plants, and they even have pulled entire plants up out of my planters and eaten them down to a nub and then left the remains on the ground to shrivel up. These plants are not looking so good right now. I'm gonna see if we can clean these up a little bit, trim off some of the dead stuff, and then we're gonna fill in with something else. And I'll give you a hint. It's something that the deer are not gonna like, and it's not because it's a deer resistant variety. So just wait and see what I have. Aside from real pumpkins and live mums, I decided to try out some artificial flowers for my porch this year. If the deer try to eat these, I will be astounded. I saw on Instagram one influencer shared these beautiful, very realistic faux mums. I decided to look into them, and even though they did look pretty realistic, they were $180 per pot. And even though they were very nice, there was no way in the world I could justify that. I would need at least 3 or 4 pots for my porch, and I think they give discounts for multiple pots, but I would be spending well over $400 just for artificial mums for my front porch, which I in no way could justify. So I decided to check out Amazon, and I did not find any actual mums that looked very realistic, but I did find these fall flowers. Now they're not just for fall, they come in a variety of colors. I almost said flavors. Decided to try out these orangish red ones for my fall porch. Over and over, they got really great reviews on Amazon. Everybody said they looked super realistic. One person even said that they fooled her super gardener extraordinaire mother-in-law. I will note that I have a super gardener mother and a super flower gardener mother-in-law. So if they can fool them, that will be the real test. I'm going to do a little overview of what I think with my first impression of these flowers. I've linked them below if you want to check them out for yourselves. They come in this reddish orange, they come in blue, white, pink, all sorts of different colors. But I'm just going to tell you my first impression, what I think of these. So I got this giant bag for $32, and the very first thing I noticed was that when I took them out of the package, they smelled absolutely horrible. But because I'm using them outside, I'm not too concerned about that. The smell will dissipate. If you're using these inside, I would definitely recommend airing them out first. The greenery itself is kind of a plastic material, while the flowers are more of a fabric. And these are meant to be outdoor fade-resistant flowers. I'm going to hold them up to the camera. Hopefully you can see them. I don't know what kind of flower they're supposed to be, but they look very nice. Just on my initial impression, I would say that definitely from a distance they look real. Even like moderately up close, I think they look very convincing. Now if you get right up on them, you would be able to tell that they're not real. But I thought I would try mixing these in with my wall planters and see how that looks. Maybe if they're mixed in with some real plants and they're stuck in some dirt, they'll look a little more convincing. Okay, I'm actually really happy with how these are looking. I'm not so happy with how scraggly these are looking, so I think I'm going to trim these back entirely. I'm going to leave the base of the plant in and see if they regrow a little healthier. Alright, so here is how they turned out. I'll go in a little closer. So way up close, you can definitely see that they have a fabric texture, like really up close. But if we back off a little bit, I think they look quite convincing. You can tell me what you think below. I was a little concerned I wouldn't like the red flowers against the red brick because I felt like maybe that would kind of clash. But you know, for fall, I think it works just fine. And I would actually consider these in other colors for different times of the year as well. I'll let you know as the season goes on how I like these, how they hold up, but I think they're very promising. I did get some real mums. My local grocery store had some really big mums for $5 a pot, which I thought was a really good deal. And then I got some of these big fantasy pumpkins from Trader Joe's. Now, I'm not currently affiliated with Trader Joe's in any way, but I love Trader Joe's because they have the most awesome seasonal finds. So I got some of these big fantasy pumpkins. Ignore my horrible lacking edger here. I never finished that project this summer. And I got some of these smaller tiger stripe pumpkins as well from Trader Joe's. The grocery store had these really pretty kind of bronze colored mums. I also got some of the yellow ones as well. So I'm kind of picturing them cascading down the porch. I just got a few of them though. You can find my video from last year on my fall porch decor where I covered these plastic mum pots with some burlap or some thrifted sheets to kind of dress them up a little bit. I'm gonna try not doing that this year just because I'm going to kind of layer them with pumpkins, and I think they're gonna be kind of hidden by the pumpkins. So we're gonna try that first. I was cleaning out my basement doing a decor purge, which I try to do from time to time, and I came across this old magazine rack that I got at the thrift store a few years ago. I had painted it white. I've lined it with burlap and displayed flowers in it inside our house. I was this close to getting rid of it, and then I thought this might look really fun on the porch with some pumpkins in it. So I think we'll give that a try as well. I'm thinking about putting it up on the bench. So we are actually going to use this old thrifted shirt to line this because I think it's really pretty. It's a really pretty color. I had planned just to use it for scrap fabric. So we're just going to kind of drape it like this. And then I'm just going to crumple up some of these Trader Joe's bags and kind of shove them down inside to take up more room. And to act as filler so that I don't have to try to fill all of this with pumpkins. I think I'd like to finish off the top of that with a ribbon. So I'm gonna tie a bow at the top and then have it cascading down. Found these two ribbons in my basement. I think this one will look better. I have this old crock I found at a thrift store a number of years ago. It has a drainage hole in the bottom already, which is fantastic. So I'm just going to pop this mum out and put it directly in the crock. This one I'm just going to tuck inside of a whitewashed pot, a very dirty whitewashed pot. Over the summer, we actually grew corn in our garden for the first time. We had probably about 50 plants, and it was a really great experience. I highly recommend it. It was super fun just to be able to go out and pluck some corn off of the plants and eat it, and it's actually really good, not even cooked. So I highly recommend trying that if you have even just a little space to put one row of corn. I managed to snag some of the corn stalks before my husband ground up all of them. He was actually in the process of mulching them before I said, hey, wait a second, stop, I want to keep some of those. So I managed to grab a handful. I'm going to tie these up with some ribbon and set them over in the corner of the porch, and we're going to see how it looks. Thank you so much for joining me in decorating my tiny front porch for fall. I had fun, I hope you did too. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing for more cottage living, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.